If you've ever pulled up the Disney World website to book a vacation only to close out of it immediately because of intense sticker shock, raise your hand. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I'm here to talk about all the things that cost way too much money in Disney World, no cap. I'm going to go over some tips and tricks and alternative solutions to make sure you can still get the most out of your Disney World trip without making your bank account cry for months after. And all of them are totally legal, I promise. If you're looking for even more Disney World things that cost way too much, or you're wondering why we didn't mention X, Y, or Z in today's video, just know that we did a similar video about a year ago featuring a completely different list of Disney World ripoffs that are still super relevant today. So if this is a topic you're interested in, or if you're someone who likes to be in the know before your vacation, which I know you are, consider checking out the prequel to this video next. You know, here on DFV, we don't want to repeat ourselves all the time, so all that stuff is in that other video, and you should definitely go check it out. Let's get started. All right, first up on things that cost way too much in Disney World right now are things that used to be completely free. There's something extra hurtful about knowing that some Disney experiences just used to be naturally part of the package deal. Fast passes that helped you bypass massive queues, free. Disney's Magical Express that took you from Orlando International Airport into your hotel, free. Select Magic Bands when you stayed at a Disney World resort, free. Parking at hotels, which I'll talk about more later on, because that's a ripoff, free. And now we gotta shell out more money during our vacations to get these benefits that used to be totally free. You get it, right? Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Make sure when you're planning your Disney World vacation that you're saving back more money than you think you might need to cover any expenses you weren't preparing to pay for. I've also got a whole video that covers some of these super sneaky hidden charges that you'll come across during your trip, so if you're looking for how much extra exactly you might need to save, go check out that video. It's also important to look at all of these once free experiences and figure out if the extra costs are going to be necessary for you. Though some bumped up costs you can't avoid, like hotel parking if you're bringing your car on vacation, or travel expenses if you're trying to hitch a ride out of the MCO to get to your hotel room, other expenses are just special perks that may enhance your park experience but aren't necessary or required. For example, instead of investing in another round of pricey Magic Bands for your travel party, consider dusting off your good old Magic Bands from trips past and loading your new reservations and park tickets onto those instead. They might not be the next new thing, but they should still get the job done, just like a trusty steed. And what if this is your first ever Disney World trip? What if you don't have a Magic Band to turn to that's going to hold all your tickets, reservations, payment info, hotel key? Well, guess what? You still don't have to have a Magic Band at all if you don't want one. Just use the complimentary items that come with the purchases you're making, like the physical park ticket or the hotel key card. And as far as reservations go, you can keep track of those through the My Disney Experience app by tapping the Future Plans tab on the homepage. You can also use the My Disney Experience app to hold your park tickets by using the Disney Magic Mobile function. All you need to do is select the tickets for each member of your party and download them from the Magic Mobile section of the app to your Apple Wallet or Google Pay. But what about Disney Genie Plus? Do you need Disney Genie Plus to ride your favorite rides? Nope. Disney Genie Plus can be nifty, but look into the different parks you're going to be visiting and weigh the pros and cons for purchasing these line bypassing privileges. Otherwise, you can still hop into the main queue for rides just like you've always been able to do. Even if you decide to purchase Disney Genie Plus for one particular day of your trip, that doesn't mean you have to purchase it for every day. We've done blog posts, by the way, on which parks and which days are the best ones to buy Disney Genie Plus. You can also settle on just purchasing one of the individual attraction selection reservations, which I'll talk about more in just a sec, if you'd rather invest your moolah in a premium ride rather than a whole bunch of rides that you may be less invested in, or that you know for a fact won't build up a wait time like that premium ride will. You can still have a great time at Disney World without a Magic Band or Disney Genie Plus. Okay, next we're going to talk about food. You know me, I love snacking my way around the parks, but that doesn't mean I'm immune to the sticker shock that comes along with the purchase of certain items. I would have preferred the fries as a side, thanks. Recently, Disney dropped hundreds of price increases on our beloved snacks throughout the parks. Most of the markups ranged between a few cents extra to a few dollars extra, which may not seem like a big deal at first, but markups like these happen often at the Disney parks, so what originally may seem more like a molehill transforms into a mountain before your budgetary eyes. Some of the recent markups include snacks like Dole Whip, which raised from $4.99 to $5.99, popcorn refills, which are now $2.25 instead of $2, Mickey Premium ice cream bars, which were $5.69 and are now $5.99, and Mickey waffles, which went from $9.99 to $10.49. And that's only scratching the surface of the hundreds of markups that happened, plus the other markups that happen consistently throughout the year. On the DFB website and on our latest updates that we post on this channel weekly, we're constantly giving you news on price changes that we notice throughout the parks, so make sure to keep checking back with us if you want to keep track on how often exactly these price increases take place. By the way, we also publish a blog post every single week that tells you every menu change in Disney World and all the price increases as well. So how do these markups compare to the items you'll find back home? Well, let's look at the Mickey Premium Bar real quick. At Disney World, you're going to pay $5.99 for one bar. At your local grocery store, you pay for a box of 6 for around $7 to $8 and get an ice cream bar that's very, very similar with Mickey ears and all. And what about a Mickey pretzel? If you order a large Mickey-shaped pretzel with cheese, you're looking at paying $7.50. But you can also grab a similar quality pretzel, like the Super Pretzels brand that comes in a box of 6 in your freezer for about $2 to $3. See how dollar markups can be quite mountainous now? And don't even get me started on paying for water bottles at the parks. Oh, too late, you already did. Depending on where you are in the parks, a regular bottle of water can range in price between $4.49 and $4.69. You know what that same price will get you back home? An entire 40-pack of purified drinking water bottles. What's the lesson here? Well, check and see what you can purchase before your trip so you can avoid paying these steep prices for basic snack items. Disney really doesn't mind you bringing your own snacks into the parks as long as they don't need to be kept frozen or microwaved, and as long as they're not in glass containers. So purchase those waters ahead of time or bring a reusable water bottle to fill up during the day. If you're already in the Disney bubble and you're thinking, wow, I really should have purchased some cheaper snacks ahead of time, don't worry, you're not a prisoner. You can always hit up a nearby big box store, or you can use a grocery app like Amazon Fresh or Instacart to get your groceries sent right to your hotel. Okay, now let's look at some other rather outrageous snack prices, shall we? Disney Springs has quite a few snacky places that are guilty of having delicious desserts at rather high prices. Amaret's Patisserie, for example, features those house-made cakes and goodies that look pretty and taste pretty, but if you pick up one of the designer petite cakes, you'll be paying between $20 and $22, which could also give you a nice little lunch somewhere. Everglazed Donuts sells their specialty donut flavors for $4.75 to $5.75, which doesn't seem terrible until you consider that a box of a dozen is going to wind up costing you $60. It's especially shocking when you're used to buying a dozen specialty Krispy Kremes back home, which will only cost you around $11.39. I know this well. Okay, guess we gotta pick on Gideon's Bakehouse cookies now too, right? As popular as Gideon's is, that doesn't mean it's not subject to those high snack prices. Each cookie costs around $6 per cookie, which again doesn't sound like the worst thing ever, especially since you're getting a pretty unique cookie out of the deal. But if you put that into dozen perspective, like we did for Everglazed, 12 cookies is gonna cost you over $72. Want to put it into further perspective? Only a few dollars more and you could eat dinner at Epcot's Space 220 restaurant for $79, which includes appetizers, entree, and dessert. Oh, and that cool theming too. There are so many more pricey snacks around the Disney parks too. You've got the Hapabore Sampler at Oga's Cantina and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is basically a $21 really awful charcuterie board that literally has string cheese on it. You've got the Mini Mickey Sink at Beaches and Cream and Disney's Beach Club Resort, which is delicious but costs $23. And you got my beloved spring rolls sold at the Adventureland Spring Roll Cart in Magic Kingdom, which costs $9.50 for 2 spring rolls that you'll more than likely finish in just a couple of bites. So if you're looking for better snack options, cheaper snack options, guess what? We've got a whole video featuring 20 snacks at Disney World that are $5 and under, and they are all recommended. A few of them include the Glimmer and Shimmer Blondie at Disney's Hollywood Studios, my beloved peanut butter pie at Disney's Contemporary Resort, and almost the entirety of the bakery items featured at Les Halles Boulangerie and Patisserie in Epcot. Want to study up on all the Disney World treats before your trip to find out which ones will be worth saving up for? How about taking a look at our DFB snack guides? Our brand new 2022 guides drop at the beginning of the year, meaning you can now purchase a DFB guide for Magic Kingdom snacks, Epcot snacks, and Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios snack. And if you want a discount on your snack guide purchase, go ahead and type in the word YouTube in the promo code box before checkout. You can pick these up at dfbstore.com. And again, there are books that describe the snacks, show pictures of them, give you prices, and a full review of each snack in each park. Yep, we buy them all, we review them all, and every year we go through the whole list again. Okay, next on our list, you knew we had to talk about it, the Galactic Starcruiser. That's right, the Halcyon, the Star Wars Hotel, whatever you want to call it. Disney didn't want to stop at just Galaxy's Edge. They wanted to expand and give their guests even more opportunities to immerse themselves within the Star Wars realm. Thus, Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser was created. This Star Wars hotel is opening on March 1st, 2022, which is very soon. We're already starting to see road signs pop up above the highways pointing you toward this new interstellar experience, but what exactly is Starcruiser? Well, it isn't your typical hotel. It's an interactive 2-day choose-your-own adventure that has more of those Disney Cruise Line vibes rather than hotel vibes. That is, if the Disney Cruise Line was set on land the entire time and only simulated the idea of you sailing on the sea. We've got hints here and there about what the Starcruiser is going to have in store for guests, like sneak peeks at the menu with blue shrimp, and concept art for activities like Jedi training and overall room setups where each guest will have a window that'll allow them to look out into space, just like you can at the Space 220 restaurant. Sounds like a blast, right? Especially for all you Star Wars fans out there. Now, here's the not so great part. For a 2-night stay here, you're gonna have to fork over around $5,000. That's quite an investment, so let's do a comparison check real quick. If you purchased a single-day theme park ticket for its average price of $109, you could hit up the parks about 46 times for this amount of money. So am I telling you to skip this one? No. If you're a major Star Wars fan, this is going to be one of those experiences you have on your bucket list, and you should absolutely do it. This is definitely something Disney's never tried before, and many guests are super stoked to be a part of it. It's completely sold out for the first month, and I think it's getting to be that point at the second month too. But if you do decide to do this, then start saving now. Also, don't blow your vacation budget all at once. Pace out your payments into more manageable chunks so you don't wind up with a $5,000 hole in your bank account. If you'd rather wait it out and get the DFB review of Starcruiser once we've got the chance to check it out, or if you're wanting to hear the overall consensus from the first handful of Starcruiser guests about whether this will be worth the price or not, remember that you can still immerse yourself in the Star Wars realm while at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Galaxy's Edge. You can even become a direct part of the action in Batuu by downloading that Play Disney Parks app and receiving assignments from Hondo Ohnaka himself. Not only that, but you can take charge on the Millennium Falcon, drink a tall glass of blue or green milk, battle Kylo Ren, and shop around the Black Spire Marketplace. There's lots to do at Galaxy's Edge, but if you want to stay at that hotel, stay tuned because we're going to tell you all about our stay there really soon. All right, next we're going to talk about annual passes. Let me preface this point real quick. As of this recording, the annual pass sales options are still unavailable for purchase. However, I'm going to be talking about them as if these sales have already resumed because I assume they will eventually. On September 8th, 2021, Disney World brought back their annual passes for frequent Disney goers to purchase. But the passes wound up looking a lot different than they did before the 2020 shutdown. Annual passes have now been broken up into 4 tiers, including the Disney Incredipass, the Sorcerer Pass, the Pirate Pass, and the Disney Pixie Dust Pass. The different tiers range in price depending on blockout dates and the amount of park pass reservations a pass holder can hold at once. If you're a Florida resident, you can choose any of the 4 tiers to purchase while also choosing how you'd prefer to pay, either all at once or monthly after initial down payment is made. But if you're a frequent flyer to Disney World and you live out of state, you've only got one annual pass option. That's the most expensive one, the Incredipass. I don't know who named these. I did not. Okay, on the plus side, this pass is going to provide you with the most benefits. You can use your annual pass anytime you want, there's no blockout dates, and you'll be able to hold 5 reservations at once. But each Incredipass is going to cost you $1,299 plus tax. And on top of that, you don't have the option of making monthly payments. You got to pay in full for your passes at the time of purchase. So if you're buying annual passes for an entire family, you're dropping, well, basically you could go on the Starcruiser. So if you're an out-of-state resident who's considering getting an annual pass, this is what you got to ask yourself. How often will you actually be visiting Disney World in the next 365 days? Usually it takes around 10 park visits, probably fewer if you're a frequent park hopper, before you get your money's worth from the annual pass. So if you plan on visiting Disney World more than 10 times this year, then saving up for an AP could be beneficial for you. And if you do get it, don't forget to take advantage of the annual pass holder discount so you can save money before and during your vacation. Oftentimes, Disney will also post resort discounts for annual pass holders that you can find on their website, or you can subscribe to our newsletter. We let you know ASAP when we see these discounts drop. A lot of people like to buy their annual passes so that they get 2 Disney trips in 1 year. So they'll go the first week in March one year and then the last week in February the next year. Now, it may also be beneficial for just one person in your group to get an annual pass. That way everyone can still benefit from the annual pass holder perks like 20% off select merch and dining and experiences, as well as free parking, discounted PhotoPass photo packages, and of course those hotel discounts. Just remember that the pass holder has to be the one purchasing the food and merchandise in order for the discount to work. And usually they also have to be on the hotel room. Now, speaking of parking, let's add this next. Before you take your car on a Disney World vacation, you need to know about the sneaky parking prices that are going to creep up on you. Once upon a time, parking for the Disney hotel guests was free, but in 2018, Disney started to charge its guests to park overnight. Parking prices at hotels now cost $15 to $25 nightly, depending on where you're staying and the time of year you're staying. So if you plan on staying for 5 nights at one of the Disney hotels, you're looking at paying an extra $75 to $125 on top of your hotel price. Even when you're staying at a Good Neighbor hotel or nearby Airbnb where parking is free, Disney will instead charge you to park in their theme park lots. Prices to park at any of the 4 theme parks is usually around $25 a day. But if you're park hopping, you won't have to pay again for that day. Bonus, you'll just show the cast member at the front gate of the second park your receipt from the first. And if you're an annual pass holder, you also don't have to pay to park at the parks. So time to weigh your options again. In some cases, you may not have much of a choice and need to bring your car on vacation with you, which if that's the case, just be aware of the extra parking fee you'll end up being charged at the end of your stay. But this extra price could be another factor when you're trying to decide if you should fly or drive to Orlando. So here are the 2 things you can ask yourself and your group. 1, which travel option is going to benefit everyone more in the long run? And 2, which one is going to be your most affordable option? Discuss the pros and cons with your group before your big trip so you can make a confident decision as a team, because that's what you are. You're a team, no matter what happens. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Dining at Disney World is super expensive. And I'm not just talking about those signature restaurants or over-the-top dining experiences like Victoria and Albert's or Takumi Te and Epcot. I'm talking about all of it. Table service restaurants like Be Our Guest in Magic Kingdom and Coral Reef Restaurant in Epcot can charge upscale prices for their food even if it's not the best we've ever had, just because of the super cool and immersive setting you get to dine in. But even quick service restaurants or fast food places can rack up big bucks. I can't tell you how many times I've returned home after a Disney vacation and thought, wow, my local fast food restaurant is basically handing over my food for nothing at these prices because I'm used to dropping $25 for a burger and fries at Disney World. I know it's probably not $25, but it feels like it's close to that. So set your expectations ahead of time. Quick service restaurants at Disney are still going to be some of your cheapest options, but there are a few more affordable table service restaurants on property too, like the new La Crêperie de Paris in Epcot and Via Napoli in Epcot if you're wanting to split a pizza with your group. Beaches and Cream at Disney's Beach Club Resort is also one of our favorite budget-minded restaurants. The Plaza at Magic Kingdom and Trails End at Fort Wilderness, all good choices. And one of the cheapest sit-down restaurants on property is actually located at the Disney World Swan and Dolphin Hotel. The Fountain has cozy classic diner vibes and serves up lots of comfort food like burgers and shakes. Last summer, we did an experiment on how much it cost a family of 4 to order 1 starter to share, 2 adult entrees, 2 kids meals, 4 desserts, and 4 beverages at the Fountain, and the grand total came to around $42. Not too shabby. And if one of the restaurants you're wanting to visit has a lounge attached, consider checking that out. Sure, the lounges aren't going to offer you a full menu like the restaurant will, but it'll offer some signature small plates that can fill you up too. That way you can avoid paying the entree prices or prefix prices featured on the main dining room menu. For this, we love Geyser Point and Territory Lounge over at Wilderness Lodge. Those are some of our favorite places to eat anyway, and the fact that they're slightly less expensive than having a full table service meal is a super bonus. Now, before your vacation, make sure to study up on the DFB reviews for the restaurants you're considering. We eat everywhere, and I mean everywhere, multiple times, in the parks, out of the parks, hotels, etc., to make sure we can provide honest reviews to help with your planning. You can also purchase our DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining at dfbstore.com. That's going to give you over 800 pages of dining reviews, tips, menu overviews, and recommendations for all the restaurants around Disney World, even those lounges, even those counter service restaurants, snacks, kiosks, everything's in there. Okay, next we're going to talk family suites. Now, I don't want you to think I'm just picking on Art of Animation Resort for the fun of it. Technically, all Disney hotels are super pricey, and during peak seasons, even the cheapest standard value rooms can cost you over $200 per night. But Disney's Art of Animation kind of tricks you into spending a bunch of cash on their family suites. How? Well, honestly, just by calling Art of Animation a value hotel in general. Let's back up a sec. What's the difference between a standard Disney room and a family suite? Well, standard rooms can usually sleep up to 4 guests, while family suites can sleep up to 6. And it makes sense for families with kiddos to gravitate toward booking a bigger room at the Art of Animation, especially when you look at all the different themes. Also, there's a door that closes, y'all, and that's really, really important. If you're a mom and dad, you get your own bathroom, you can close the door to your bedroom, the kids can be out there doing whatever kids do, and you can just go to sleep. Now, if you get a family suite at Art of Animation, you have the choice of a Finding Nemo room, a Lion King room, or a Cars room. These rooms are cute and colorful colorful, and they help kick off the Disney magic for the little kids. But just to give you a peek at prices here, if I were to book an Art of Animation family suite for the first week of April this year, I have to pay a standard rate of between $532 and $562 per night. That is not the whole week, my friends. That is per night. Yikes. You know what else you can get for that same amount of money, if not less? An entire cabin over at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort. And those cabins not only sleep up to 6 adults, they also come with a living room, a full kitchen, an outdoor patio, bunk beds. It's awesome. Though you may miss all the colorful characters you'll get over at Art of Animation, it's not a bad idea to check in on the family rooms and suites over at Disney's Good Neighbor Hotels too. Disney's Good Neighbor Hotels are not owned by Disney, but they partner with Disney to provide you with many of the same benefits that the deluxe hotels actually have. So we're not just talking about the value resort perks, we're talking deluxe hotel perks, which includes evenings in the parks that aren't open to anybody else. So if you book a family room over at the Dolphin Hotel, which is actually within walking distance to both Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios, Art of Animation, not within walking distance of any park, you can get a deluxe guest room with a balcony view for around $500 per night, plus staying at this hotel is going to give you those deluxe resort benefits, like I said. So before you shell out the cash for a relatively small family suite at Art of Animation, check out what's available at Good Neighbor Hotels. You can probably get bigger suites for a lot less. And those Fort Wilderness cabins, I'm telling you, what a hidden gem. Okay, next on our list, of course, we're going to talk about merchandise. Listen, I have an easy enough time racking up quite the bill at Disney as is, but some Disney gift shop items are so outrageously expensive that I have to laugh to keep from crying, and I know you're right there with me. Remember earlier how I was talking about snack prices being just cranked up? The same goes for the toiletries and over-the-counter medications sold in Disney gift shops. So let's do a quick price comparison for one of the more popular last-minute purchases, diapers. A 14-pack of diapers sold on Disney property is going to cost you about $11. 14 diapers. Depending on the brand and location, you can get a 32 count of diapers online or at your nearest big box store for around $9. So that's kind of the common theme with other Disney essential markups for items like aspirin, shampoo, teeny tiny sticks of deodorant. If Disney knows you need them, they know you'll pay for them. But just like I said about our deer snacks earlier, you don't have to stay in the Disney bubble to get these items for less. There's literally a Super Target 7 miles away from Disney property, and there are lots of Walgreens, CVS, Publix stores near Disney World that you can use if you're looking for a pharmacy with cheaper over-the-counter meds. And by the way, can I just mention Instacart here and Amazon Prime? They will deliver right to your hotel. Wham bam, no problem. And then you got the stuff and you didn't pay $1 million for it. But now that we've talked about the overpriced essentials, let's look at the ultra mega expensive non-essentials that may look like fun items to own at first until you look at the price tag. These are the things that you cannot buy on Instacart. Have you seen these super shiny ears under a display case in Disney Springs before? Okay, first up, anything that's under glass is probably going to be too expensive at Disney World. This golden jeweled Mickey hat was created by Lux Logo and made specifically for the 50th anniversary celebration, and it costs $1,000. Yes, $1,000. Even the other two releases in this collection are a hefty price. The gold and black leather 50th anniversary Loungefly mini ears are $225, and the bedazzled Minnie Mouse ears cost $750. Designer-inspired ears pop up in Disney Springs often, so if you're looking for the nicest pair of ears you'll ever own, check out shops like Ever After Jewelry Company. You can also find many of these limited release ears online at shopdisney.com. Surprisingly, they sell out at those prices. But if you're looking for a much cheaper way to celebrate Disney World's 50th anniversary, they also offer a selection of celebratory ears that are only about $30 to $40 a pair. Still pricey, but you won't have to take out a mortgage to buy them. Speaking of pricey items sold during the 50th anniversary celebration, not too terribly long ago, we saw a very blinged out Disney World 50th anniversary pop socket, and it was flying off the Disney World shelves. We thought it was a pretty pop socket, gold, sparkly Cinderella castle on the front, just a nice pop socket. But when we flipped it over to check out the price, this thing cost $50. This isn't the norm for Disney pop sockets, but if Disney can make things limited edition and exclusive, they have a much easier time selling these outrageously priced items at a higher cost. Before you go to Disney World and are considering splurging on the latest limited release souvenir, watch my 10 tricks Disney World uses to make you spend more video. You might be shocked by what you learn. Now, I didn't mean to parade all these different items to make you feel like you're going to have to outturn your pockets in order to buy Disney World souvenirs. I mean, yes, Disney souvenirs are expensive even when they're not bedazzled in gold, but there are still ways you can save on your purchases. First off, always check the Shop Disney website on your phone or your computer. Make sure the item you're wanting isn't already sold there. If you can find a souvenir on the Shop Disney website, then you're in luck. Shop Disney often has sales and seasonal promotions, sometimes 50% off, that will help you save money on your your overall purchases. We always recommend that you go buy some stuff on sale at Shop Disney before going to Disney World and give those things to your kids in Disney World instead of buying stuff off the shelf there. You can also check and see what items are available over at the character warehouses outside Disney property. There are 2 character warehouses in Orlando, one on International Drive at the Orlando Outlet Marketplace and one on Vineland Avenue at the Orlando Vineland Premium Outlets. Both locations sell overstock, actual, authentic Disney World merch at usually heavily discounted prices. Next on our list are those individual attraction selection fees. Disney Genie, you knew I had to add you somewhere on this list, right? Disney Genie is an extension of the My Disney Experience app, and it's broken up into 3 parts. The first part is Disney Genie's free service, which will assist you with things like itinerary creation and dining reservations. The second 2 are Disney Genie's premium services, Disney Genie Plus and the individual attraction selections, or IAS for short. Now, I could talk about both Disney Genie Plus and IAS, but you can watch my whole video going over the secrets of Disney Genie Plus and decide for yourself whether you think that one's going to be worth the extra price for you and your group. What I really want to focus on here is the IAS reservations. These are what our good friend Molly over at All Ears likes to call fancy rides. Fancy rides are the most popular attractions in each park, like Rise of the Resistance and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Because these rides are hot items when it comes to Disney World, they're not included in the price of Disney Genie Plus. Instead, you have to pay per ride for lightning lanes or shorter line access at these attractions. IAS reservations fluctuate between $7 and $15 per ride per person, depending on the time of year and demand for the rides. So let's say a family of 4 wanted to use the IAS reservation system to get on the 4 most popular rides currently at each Disney World park. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot is usually priced around $9 to $10, meaning you'll have to pay $36 to $40 for your family to skip the main queue to ride this ride. Flight of Passage in Animal Kingdom averages around $11 per person, meaning you'll pay $44. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in Magic Kingdom will probably run you around $10, making it a grand total of $40 for your family. And Rise of the Resistance in Disney's Hollywood Studios tends to max out the IAS prices at $15, meaning you'll pay a whopping $60 to skip the main queue here. Friends, that's $185 to $190 extra dollars that you're paying during your trip for 4 rides when you already bought park tickets, and maybe you already bought Disney Genie Plus too. So here's the thing, you don't have to purchase IAS reservations to hit up these fancy rides. You can still wait in the main queue for all of them. In order to cut down your wait times in the standard lines, try jumping in the queues for these during the early theme park hours, which are available to you if you're staying at a Disney World hotel or one of the Good Neighbor hotels. Lines will also be shorter for these experiences toward the end of the day. The early to mid-afternoons are when these ride lines really tend to peak. The free version of the Disney Genie tool could track the forecasted wait times during the day for each attraction, so if you see the queue line for one of these rides drop down to a wait time that seems tolerable, then tell your group to go and head over to that ride's queue. And listen, I get it if you're on the fence about purchasing an IAS reservation on the day of your visit. If you don't go to Disney World very often, or if this is your first trip in forever, it might be tempting to go ahead and purchase it just so you don't have to stress about spending too much time in line and not enough time soaking in your park day. And time is money. If you don't want to waste a bunch of time when you already spent a ton of money on park tickets, then grab those IAS reservations. You can get 2 per day. Try checking in on the wait times before your trip though. You can see live wait times on the My Disney Experience maps for each park, even from back home. That way you can see if the waits will be tolerable or if you're going to want to go ahead and bite the bullet when you're there. You may also want to consider using your souvenir money on IAS reservations for an attraction you really want to see if you'd rather pay for an experience rather than merchandise. Guess that'll depend on how much room you still have in your back seat or how much suitcase space you have for your plane trip home. Next on our list are those after-hours events. Last year, the way we once experienced holiday parties at the Magic Kingdom changed completely. Okay, maybe not completely. Guests still had to pay a separate ticket price to experience the extra holiday magic that took place after the park officially closed for everyone else. But these after-hours events, like the Halloween Boo Bash and the Christmas Party, were downsized, offering fewer hours and fewer experiences. So you'd think that'd mean the new after-hours parties would cost less than the full-blown holiday parties we were used to, right? No. In fact, the after-hours holiday events wound up costing a lot more. Time for some more price comparisons for reference. When Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party was around, it was a 5-hour event, including the Boo to You parade, the Not So Spooky Halloween Spectacular, ghostly ride overlays, meet and greets with characters dressed in their most chilling attire, and trick-or-treating around the different sections of the park, which was lots of free candy. Prices for this hard ticket event started at around $79 and peaked at $135 per adult for Halloween night. Boo Bash, on the other hand, was missing a lot of these key features when it that replaced Not So Scary in 2021. There was still modified trick-or-treating and distanced character meet and greets, but there was no parade, no fireworks, and no castle stage show. The event was only 3 hours long as well. And that's not me saying there's anything wrong with a pulled-back version of a Halloween party. After a hectic 2020, it was exciting to just see something returning, even if it was just a skeleton of what we once knew. Get it? That was all Bria. The problem comes from the Boo Bash pricing, which was significantly more expensive than its Not So Scary predecessor. Boo Bash prices ended up ranging from $129 to $199 per person. That's right, the lowest prices for Boo Bash were only a few dollars short of the most expensive days for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and it's 2 hours shorter, has no fireworks and less stuff. When it comes to Christmas, we saw a similar situation. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party was a longer event starting at 7 p.m. and lasting until midnight, with prices ranging from $99 to $139 per adult ticket. The 2021 Disney Very Merriest After Hours, however, usually started around 9 or 9:30, but the event featured many of our past favorite experiences like a Holly Jolly parade and festive fireworks. That said, the hard ticket prices for this Christmas event saw a major spike, with prices ranging from $169 to a whopping $249 per person. The lowest price tickets for Disney Very Merriest still surpassed the highest ticket prices for the former Christmas party by $30. We're not sure what Magic Kingdom has planned for the holidays this year, but we definitely have time to plan ahead. If you want to experience the After Hours festivities in 2022, whatever they may be, something tells me prices aren't going to drop drastically from what we saw this year. So start saving back now and mentally preparing yourself to pay an extra $200 on top of your regular park ticket price, or plan on just going to the After Hours event and skipping the regular park day to save some money. Are you planning on going to Disney World during the holidays, but you're not quite sure the drastic prices for the After Hours events are going to be worth it? Don't forget that Disney doesn't just bubble up all their holiday cheer after hours. You can experience Halloween and Christmas during the normal park days too. This is especially true when it comes to Christmas. Want to see what I mean? Check out my What I Wish I'd Known Before Going to Disney World During the Holidays video to get a glimpse into last year's 2021 Christmas season, because it's never too early to start celebrating Christmas. Okay, maybe it is, but still worth checking out. There are even free offerings you can experience on property around the holidays, like the Christmas tree stroll at Disney Springs, the extravagant gingerbread displays at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Disney's Beach Club Resort, and meeting the one and only Santa Claus at Disney Springs. Now, I think it's safe to say that Disney World is a ton of fun, but also a ton of cash to experience. Hopefully, you can now target those high-priced experiences beforehand and figure out if it's going to be worth the cost for you. If the answer is yes, then it's time to get to work on that vacation budget. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.